It's the War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out smackdowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space, now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Farmer strength. Ain't nobody man enough to feel the pain. And you could be next. You better give respect. Cause ain't nobody breaking this redneck. No, they don't want none. No, they don't want none. They don't want none. No, they don't want none. They don't want none. No.
Another return in the book.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the War Report podcast. Yeah, you're not kidding. Yeah. You're not kidding. Another main eventer seemingly going after the bloodline. Welcome, everybody. We have a lot to talk about. So we should jump right to it. I should also hi to, I'm going to guess and say Tara. And then, oh, hold on. I fucked up already. You know,
play the music. There it is.
Yeah, no, that was bad because... You know, I'm off my shit today. I apologize. We're going to do it the right way. There we go.
It is.
David Rosca. Trish Stratus, 48 years old. She looks 23 years old at 40. It's 100% true. She looks amazing. So, sidebar, before we really get into it, we might be live on Instagram right now, which is
shit.
I don't actually know if we are. I have a check mark.
Said that's a new thing. I got like an email or something about that.
Yeah, I did too. And I think I did everything that it wanted me to do.
Damn it, Steve. I would have shaved if you told me we were live on Instagram.
Next week. But yeah, I don't know if we're actually live or not, to be honest with you. But I followed everything it told us to.
Hey guys, is it safe to say that WWE is back on the HGH because all these old men coming back are jacked?
Yo,
what is going on right now? Vince, help me out with this. What's going on?
I mean, listen, I wish I had an explanation, but everybody's coming back. Like even like the first guy I noticed was Cody when he came in to WWE, and especially when he came back from that pec injury. I don't know. He must be taking some good supplements. And then Randy Orton came back thick as a brick. And now AJ Styles, who's never, but I mean, AJ Styles, who's always been in shape, but he's never been that guy.
Right. He's never been brawling.
Not like this. Oh my God. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. I mean, I know what he's doing, but I don't know what they're doing. Like I thought this was, I thought we were in a different era of. Whatever.
They definitely look like they've been hanging out with MJF for sure.
Yo, oh my God. And he was never that guy either.
No.
I mean, maybe they've got some really new training stuff or like a new exercise bike or elliptical. Maybe it's not what we think it is, but I mean, it certainly seems like it.
It's tough to think a grown man after being almost 50 could grow all that muscle.
And AJ Styles, I mean,
and you're talking about lean guys too. You know, it's not like they lost weight.
Shocking. Like it was legit. I saw a picture of AJ Styles. I'm like, I was gobsmacked. I didn't know what to say. He's so big, and not just big. Like he's ripped and he's big. Like Randy Orton was always ripped, but now he's ripped and he's big. Like the size of these, it's like they're playing that WWE All-Stars fighting game for the Xbox 360. They're all just like giant inflated dudes.
Right. They're the NFL Blitz version of wrestlers.
Yes.
That's what they are. They're huge.
Yes. Yo, it really is NFL Blitz out there. Oh my God, that's crazy. But he's back. No Good Brothers as of yet.
Didn't they leave off like on bad terms the last time we saw the Good Brothers with him, or am I mistaken?
I mean, maybe, but that's.
I think they had lost or some shit, and he wasn't happy with the way they lost. Then he walked away. Steve, help me out with that. What was the?
What was the last time they were together?
Recap me real quick.
Good Brothers and AJ Styles. Last time they were together, they left off like on bad terms, right? Or no?
Yeah, there was something weird at like AJ walked out on them or some shit, and then I think, and then we didn't see him. Man, I'm literally the same age as AJ Styles. Holy shit! Yeah, he's but look how good he's looking now. I mean, it's unbelievable.
He is for sure.
We've been asking the question, what are we going to do with LA Knight, right? Well, here you go. Yeah. Now you got LA Knight, AJ Styles, looks like, but what was the beef with them? I don't remember. I gotta say, I was very pumped to see AJ return, and very confused when SmackDown went off the air. I didn't get the whole turn on LA Knight. I mean, and right. is it an actual heel turn? I mean, because that's I don't know if that was 100%. Right. So I don't know.
The only thing I'm not mad with is the fact that it gives LA Knight a credible opponent. You don't put him in the back burner, right? It's not Austin Theory and that other psycho. And he's a legitimate guy. And hopefully if he goes over AJ Styles, which I'm thinking he should, the way it has hot as he been, it could lead to something else and you could catapult him to another spot. But
then it also poses the question, does AJ lose his first big match back?
Does LA Knight keep losing? Come on, man. What are we doing?
Well, that's the other problem.
If anybody could afford a loss, it's AJ Styles over them too. AJ Styles will always be AJ Styles.
That's true. Oh, shit. All right, we got two more comments from David Roscoe. Who is Seth Rollins defend his World Heavyweight Champion at the Royal Rumble? All right, so who's going to be the opponent? I mean, look, I think they're doing Crown Jewel is McIntyre Rollins. So it does pose a fair question. I mean, does McIntyre get another shot at the Rumble? But at that point, I mean, if McIntyre loses this one, he can't lose a third. So I don't know who else would be next. I mean, I can't see them pushing to do CM Punk versus Rollins, because CM Punk has already announced that he's going to be in the Rumble, and he damn sure ain't going to pull double duty. He's not going to wrestle a match and do the Rumble.
No.
So that's a fair question, David. I don't truthfully know the answer yet. Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, Royal Rumble 24. That looks like it's going to happen. Looks like it's going to happen. And I mean, that's a Hail Mary. I don't know if if Randy Orton's the one that finally ends Roman's reign. But I do have to, I want to pose a question about that. But real quick, Ryan is listening. Isn't Drew getting a shot at Rollins on the day one Raw? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not Crown Jewel. Maybe it's day one. You might be right.
I might be fucking that up. Him.
Drew, day. I was going to ask if the Crown Jewel was a day one, what the date was. But no, day one is separate from.
All right, then I misspoke. I apologize.
So it's going to be on day one. Is Orton going after Roman at day one and not at the Rumble?
I think that's being set up for the Rumble, I think. But here's something else too, though. There's a lot of shit going on online about Roman that after Mania, like this is it, like he's done, like he's leaving. Has anyone else been hearing this shit? And I'm hearing it in more than one place. I mean, obviously it's dirt sheet shit, so you never really know, but
No, when and like I didn't. This is the first I'm hearing of that. That's odd. That he's just done. He's just going to retire.
That he doesn't want to do it anymore. I can't see that being the case. Then I also read something else that it could have something to do with the leukemia, but I don't know how true that is, because I feel like if that was the case, he would be dropping the title immediately and going back to the island.
Yeah. If you're sick, you're not. Because he was in the middle of another run when he announced it. Well, I don't know if he was if he had the title or if he was getting set up to win the title, but like, when Roman first announced it, it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna wait until Sunday and finish this out at the pay-per-view. It was like, no, I gotta go.
Right. He dropped the title right there on Raw or SmackDown, one of them.
Yeah.
My name is Joe and I'm leaving.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was as real as it got.
Yeah. So, if that was the case, you'd think he would go back. Unless it's one of those things where it's like, not necessarily that he's that it's back or that he's sick, but that the toll of working on the road and all of this stuff is taking a toll on his body.
I mean,
and,
but honestly, 11 matches in a whole year.
I know that
toll?
But that also lends credence to him potentially being sick, because if he's not feeling great, he's your top guy. You want him out there. If he only has the energy, like, let's just say that and I'm making a big leap here, but let's say that it's something related to his health where he doesn't have the energy or the cardio to do this as consistently, and they wanted to keep him on top for whatever. Then you have him wrestle 11. He gets enough. He has enough in his system to wrestle one match a month, and that's what we got: 11, 12 matches in a year. But I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to look back on this in after Mania, or 6 months later, or a year or two later, to really get a full scope of the picture. Because I was thinking about this earlier, dude. Like, where we go with Roman Reigns, if he's only defending the title 11 times, somebody else should win it off of him. But if they just go back to Cody winning the Rumble and then Cody winning at WrestleMania, it's like, then why? It feels like Cody's last year was wasted and Roman's last year was wasted on keeping them entirely separate.
They also just kind of set the tone for Solo to become the new tribal chief.
Yeah, okay, so that was... Oh, okay. So that I'm
there's a lot of layers here, right? So, like, Roman could disappear and Solo could take over, And by the way, just to say, Jimmy's facials were everything on SmackDown. Every single segment he was in, his body language and facials were amazing. Because we always talk about that, but
guy, if you think about this, give or take a year ago, we were all sitting here and questioning, are we tired of the bloodline? And I think we all came into conclusion that we weren't, because of how much more we saw potentially that the bloodline could give us. And we literally wasted a year of pretty much nothing. Like, they probably took one of the best factions ever, and in this last, I won't say the year, but let's call it the last 9 months, it's been pretty stale. Ever since Jimmy left, and we had that whole confusion thing and blah, blah, whatever. I think that was really the last, like, right now, like, what's going on with them? Like, Roman comes around, he says he's the chief, but nothing really happens.
Now he's saying,
then he disappears.
Now the other guy's the chief.
Yeah, and now he's saying the other guy's the chief, and now we're hearing rumors he wants to go.
Well, no. He didn't say that. He said that he'd be next in line, which was really a shot at Jimmy.
Okay.
David Rosca, Fatal 4 Royal Rumble, LA Knight, AJ Styles, Roman Reigns. Now that I could get behind. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Hate
it at all. Although, actually, I mean, well, I will say this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Neither LA Knight, AJ Styles, or Orton have officially declared themselves in the Royal Rumble match.
Not that I know of.
I think you're right.
That could be I don't know that they're going to. We haven't seen a fatal 4-way for the
That's
title.
I'll tell you what though, that's a lot of firepower to take out of a Rumble.
Well, that also I was going to say that also doesn't mean that these guys can also not be in the Rumble. You know what I mean? The men's Rumble might be what finishes the pay-per-view. If it does, then anybody can be in it. I mean, I don't see Roman being in it, obviously. But
Right.
No, but then does Roman wrestle at Royal Rumble, or you skip him? He has to wrestle.
Wait, who? Roman?
Yeah.
Well, let's say you have this match right in front of you.
Oh, you're saying with this match. Got you. Okay.
Yeah, well, because we've seen that before, right? Like guys have a match, but then they're in the Rumble anyway.
Yeah, didn't Bray Wyatt and Bryan Danielson wrestle Royal Rumble singles match, and then they were in it?
Bro, back in the day, that used to be the norm.
Right.
It was.
Right.
Absolutely.
Everybody was in it regardless if you had a match or
Right.
not.
Everybody that wrestled that night in that card, except for like the WWE Championship match, was in it, including the Intercontinental, the tag teams, everybody.
Right. You know, these guys are getting, and I appreciate Triple H is giving these guys time off. They're getting off Christmas week, where traditionally that was a busy week of house shows. TKO has decided that the house show business is pretty much dead for WWE. So TKO as a corporation is phasing out the house shows. So how about this? If they're only going to be working a couple nights a week, put your fucking all into it. If you're going to have a pay-per-view that's the Royal Rumble, that's one of your big 4 pay-per-views, get your fucking stars to wrestle. And guess what? If they're going to go out and they got to wrestle a 10-minute match and then they got to go out for 3 more minutes and pretend to elbow people in the Royal Rumble before being tossed out. The Royal Rumble is the easiest match to wrestle. You're not going out and doing backflips and handstands. Like 3 guys do shit like that. Everybody else grabs a collar and elbow, or you go into a turnbuckle and you make like you're choking a guy, and you make like you're trying to lift his leg over the top rope, and then somebody hits you and you take a bump and you lie down for 5 minutes, and then finally somebody throws you out. It's not hard. I don't understand this whole thing of, well, they wrestled 1 match early in the night. Can they not wrestle in the Rumble? Everybody, like, the guys in the past did it, and they were like, not nearly as conditioned or physically fit, and they were all blown up on cocaine and steroids and Budweiser, and like they did it. Why can't these new, healthy, modern superstars do it? What the fuck?
And not for nothing. They don't even have to be in it long.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Just go out, take a bump or 2, and get thrown over. It is what it is. But
like the fucking bushwhackers.
Oh my God. In one side and right out the other.
Yeah.
While he's doing the whole fucking thing.
Doing the bounce the whole way.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I am excited for the Rumble, though. I always enjoy the Rumble. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I always get excited for the Rumble.
Right. Right.
But, I said this last year, and this was something that it lacked, and this is what kind of shit on it for me. Lack of surprises.
Yeah.
Like the Rumble, like the beauty of the Rumble is like you get that surprise, like an Edge after 9 years, like you just hear his music and you have a holy shit moment, or things like that. Like that's when AJ Styles debuted, and you heard the music, but you didn't really
you get The Rock this year.
I mean,
I know I'm shooting. I know I'm shooting for the stars, but fuck, imagine you get The Rock.
You imagine. Like, but that's just it. All you have to do is hear the music and you shit. And like, those are the moments that you look forward to in the Rumble. And there's some years that it lacks that. And
Vince,
yeah, man.
Question: coming into Royal Rumble season, what are some notable wrestling free agents?
Kazuchika Okada. There's rumors that not only is Okada not going back to New Japan, but he's hired the super agent Barry Bloom, who also represents the Young Bucks. Barry Bloom, if you remember, was another guy that he was responsible for Beyond the Mat, the movie. He was featured in that he's been an agent for wrestlers and entertainment people for a long time. There's rumor that Okada, not only is he a free agent, his contract is up at the beginning of the year, or shortly after the beginning of the year. January 4th is New Japan's big show usually. They used to do 1 show. Now they do like WrestleMania. They do 2 shows. Well, they did it first, and then WrestleMania copied it. But anyway, so the speculation is that after that, he's a free agent. He's showing up on TNA's first new pay-per-view of the new year. So he's already announced for that. And everybody's going to try and throw the bag at him. So you got him, and AEW is going to try and throw the bag at him as well, because it would be a significant moment for Okada to show up in WWE and make his entrance at the Royal Rumble. That'd be huge. And at the same time, for him to go to AEW, and I don't want to say legitimize them, but like, having a guy like Okada there fighting for your world title against guys like Hangman and guys like Jay White, who he's fought in New Japan, and guys like Swerve Strickland and whatever, and MJF would be a big get for AEW. But I mean, it's that time of the year. WWE wants to make a splash. I can't think of another notable name on the men's side that might be a free agent right now. Nobody that would turn the dial.
And what do you think about the whole Sasha Banks rumors? Do you think she'll be back in WWE, or?
I got to tell you,
the
last thing that I heard, and again, take it for what it is, because nothing is confirmed, of course, but the last thing I heard is that creative has been told to get ready and start writing for her, and that her big return is going to be at the Rumble. And that would be an oh shit moment. I've also heard from multiple places that all talks with AEW have stopped. So
even Tony Khan said he's not in conversations with her.
So it sounds like it's going to happen, and that's one of those moments. Like, that's as long as they don't fuck it up and start advertising it ahead of time. Like, tune in to see the return. Like, no, I want to see 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 here. Michael Cole shit himself and yell at the TV that it's boss time, and and go for
we were talking about it being a possibility last week. I think it's more of a possibility this week, only because in WWE Women's Wrestling News was the headline that Charlotte Flair is out for 9 months because she did the triple bag, man.
Well, I was going to say she's a Flair. She's a Flair. Yeah. If you're going to go big, go big or go home. I mean, this is a torn ACL. She's out 9 months minimum. Right. You're talking a torn ACL, a torn meniscus, and a torn MCL. Yeah, all at once. I mean,
and that's usually what, if it's severe enough, all of those three will go at once.
And can I just say one other thing? She went another 2 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
so imagine that. She's a fucking beast. If you don't have respect for Charlotte Flair, you should now. Mm-hmm. Because she went another 2 to 3 minutes, the best she could, to finish the match with those three things at once.
Figure eight.
She did. Can you imagine? Which is all your need.
No, I can't imagine that. That's got to be incredible.
It was crazy, bro.
Insane. Now, I want to say one other thing too, because we are speaking about the women a little bit, right? We're talking about Charlotte. Yeah. We're talking about Sasha. We also need to talk about how Liv Morgan has recently been arrested for being a stoner in the state of Florida. Where she posted a $3,000 bond, but I'm also hearing that she got a 30-day suspension for the wellness policy, but I thought now it was just a fine and not a suspension. So I'm a little confused. I wonder if
getting arrested affects that.
Yeah, well, and I also heard it's definitely going to hurt her booking when she returns too. So don't expect Liv to be pushed when she comes back, because she's going to get a little punished right now. But I got to tell you, the sexiest, and I mean the sexiest mugshot I've ever seen. I mean, goddamn, beautiful.
Oh my god, dude, that's wild.
But it bothers me. Like, dude, we're talking about weed, and then I think the bigger issue was she had the synthetic liquid.
Well, that's the thing. She got popped for something synthetic, but that could be. See, Florida's weird because THC is legal, but Delta 9s aren't, or something like that. Like, if you can go to a dispensary and buy weed, but if you go to a gas station and buy a Delta 9 pen, you can get arrested for it. It's like really weird over there. So it could have just been CBD or Delta 8 that was not licensed, or it was, synthetic, something that you buy at a gas station or convenience store, not something that you could get by showing your driver's license at a legal dispensary. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if it does come out, it's going to be a while, whenever the police report or whatever it is comes out. But overall, I think it's not a huge deal. Obviously, being a celebrity or whatever, it's never a good look. But I think it's not like she was hauling pounds of cocaine over the Mexican border. I think she'll survive.
That would have been a problem.
Imagine I was talking to Dave at work about this. Imagine you bring back Matt Riddle and you put the two of them together.
And you bring out, it's Matt Riddle and Liv Morgan, and they drive out in the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo, and when they open the van doors, a bunch of smoke pours out.
Their finishing move is called the bong hit.
Oh my God.
It's the backstabber. It's Carlito's backstabber, the bong hit.
They could be known as Bro Morgan or the possibilities are endless. The merchandise, come on. It would be amazing. They're not going to bring him back, and nor are they going to promote it. But
he's teasing that he might go back to MMA this next year.
Well, I actually heard. I'm sure everyone's heard that he challenged the Paul brother, but I think he declined the invitation.
Oh, to do an MMA match.
Yeah, or just like a boxing match. Or something.
The boxing would have been interesting because he's
Jake Paul, right? Is that it's Jake Paul?
Yeah.
I think Jake Paul turned him down.
It would make it. I understand why he turned him down because he's not looking at the names of celebrities that he's boxed. Matt Riddle's actually kind of far down on the list when you see like fucking Nate Robinson and these UFC guys that he fought. It's like he's not fighting. Little Ben Askren is a huge name. I mean, he's not a good boxer, but he was a big name. So yeah, if Matt Riddle, here's the thing: if Matt Riddle was at the level of like a fucking Seth Rollins, like if he had won a WWE championship, Jake Paul might have taken this fight just to be like, I even beat up a WWE champion, or a UFC champion. If he won a championship in the UFC, he would have taken it as well. I think. I just don't think Riddle's a notable. Unfortunately, he's a big name. He's a big name to wrestling fans, and he's a semi-big name to MMA fans. But outside of that, I don't think he's the mainstream draw that you would need for a Jake Paul pay-per-view where they sell 1 million. To expect to sell 1 million pay-per-views with him fighting Jake Paul would be unrealistic. Whereas Jake Paul fighting, pick anybody from the NBA, you know what I mean, some retired NBA guy, and then they'll get 1 million for that somehow. But
yeah, I mean.
Riddle, I don't know, man. That's a sad case too, because I don't know I don't know if it's drinking. I don't know if it's something harder than weed. I don't know if maybe does the guy smoke too much weed? I don't know what his deal is. Because I remember being on Instagram I was on Instagram that night, and I remember seeing the post before it was deleted, and I'm reading it and going like, this is. Regardless of what happened in the airport or the train station or wherever the fuck it was, just you don't post something like this. And then that's when I realized the guy was probably not in the right state of mind to even be posting something like that. And then, of course, the whole fallout happened.
Well, we know he had a problem with drugs.
Well, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, what was.
No, but I'm not talking weed. Didn't him and Damian Priest get arrested months back? Or maybe they didn't get arrested. They tested positive and they got suspended, both of them. And I want to say it was ecstasy.
Oh, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, don't quote me. I don't want to get sued. But
no.
But I think allegedly I remember hearing that it could have been something like that.
Mm.
So. All right. Well, that was pretty much SmackDown, right? I don't think we really missed anything else big on SmackDown. I will say on Raw, I got two things wrong, but I was right at the same time. I knew 2 title matches. I knew something was going to give, right? I just picked the wrong team. I got to tell you, I'm kind of surprised. I'm not surprised that the Creed brothers didn't win, although I did think they were going to win. I'm not surprised that they lost. Great match, by the way, and we'll get into it. But I am surprised that they took the titles off of Chelsea and Piper Nivens. I thought that they were doing a great job. I've heard nothing but high praise from the back in regards to Chelsea and how much she's very much liked backstage with creative and everything. Now, this is not to take away anything from Kaden Carter and Katana, whatever. I think they're great, and I like them. And I'm happy that they won. I think it'll be a good run. I'm just surprised by the decision.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, because not that I necessarily thought the Creed brothers were going to win right away. It would have been a nice little surprise, and it probably would have been good for them. I don't know what it would have done for Judgment Day, but it would have been a cool moment for them. The women's title, yeah, I thought they were doing a good job, man. I wasn't expecting a title change there at all, only because, especially with a division that's not very well defined, I guess that's the most diplomatic way I can put it. Having heel champions that you want to see, the fans want to see lose, you can take people and make makeshift tag teams, or get tag teams that form together because they were done wrong by the heel champions, and then you can have them kind of carry the title going about and beating these babyface challengers. And again, like you said, you don't want to knock these other girls, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, because
they do some cool shit.
Right.
Like they do different shit.
But where do they, where do you go with them? I guess we'll see. But it's like one of those things. It's like, at least with Chelsea Green, you can be like, all right, what's Chelsea Green? Oh, Chelsea Green's like a Karen. She like complains to the manager and all this stuff. It's like,
it's so great.
Kaden Carter and Katana Chance.
They're just party girls. They're just party girls, which I hate. I really don't like the gimmick, to be honest with you.
So maybe we can see an evolution of that, and that would make them more. Because if they can evolve their gimmick, if they're already good in the ring, then they need to figure out.
Well, you know what it is too. Not only are they good, but they work really well together, because they've been a team for a very long time. I mean, you're talking years. Not, months or a year. Years they've been a team. So they know each other inside and out. I mean, they do shit now without even thinking twice. I like them. I really do. But I do agree with you. Like, I'm not a big fan of the gimmick. I think that does need to evolve, and we'll have to see. It's the first time that they're getting a run. So I'm happy for them. And I'm sure Piper Nivens and Chelsea are going to get a rematch, I would imagine. So it'll be interesting to see, but it opens up a lot more potential matches to have a babyface women's tag team at this point than there is for a heel. And they have had it for a while. So, and since we are talking back and forth, including Judgment Day, we lost Al. I'm sure he'll be back. There is something very important that we haven't discussed that we need to. And
what the fuck? All right, go ahead. Yeah.
R-Truth is the newest member of the Judgment Day. How great was that segment? I mean, dude, how great was that segment? What's up?
Is he going
to
have
he only got me
Judgment
the
Day?
Instrumental? What?
Do you know how badly I want him to have Judgment Day specific raps in that song?
He probably will. He'll probably
to write lines about Dominic and all those guys. But what I like
this is the thing. This is the brilliance of R-Truth, because he's good in the ring, but he's so great at playing just somebody so ignorant and just out of it, but in a great way. And he brings comedic to this heel team now. I think it's a great choice, but the way it all went down, like the fact that he comes out and he's like, y'all like me. I can see it in your eyes. You jumped me in. Like, I'm a part of the team now. And, you know, and then it turns into this, whichever loses is out. And then I'm the whole time too, I'm like, wow, I'm like, Truth is putting on a good fight. I'm like, there's no way he's going to win. Then Dominic gets involved. And that was a great moment too, because R-Truth like gives a pound and a hug, and then he gets pushed into the post. And then all of a sudden, R-Truth wins and is now officially a part of the Judgment Day. So, but now later on, they also said that Judgment Day that JD is not getting kicked out. So who knows what's going to happen. But as of right now, technically, R-Truth is Judgment Day, and I think it's amazing.
Is he part of Judgment Day?
I mean,
he won the match.
I know, but the thing of the match was that the one that loses gets kicked out. Wasn't it something like that?
Right, and R-Truth won the match. So technically,
so
JD's supposed to be kicked out, but they're saying they're not kicking him out. So it's going to be weird to see what they do with it. But as of now, R-Truth is a part of Judgment Day, and I think it's great.
Man, I don't know what you're talking about. He was always part of Judgment Day. Don't you remember shortly after he made his return at the Royal Rumble for the first time in 9 years that he formed this group with some young guys? They got together to judge the rest of the WWE. Oh wait, that was Edge. I'm sorry. He's always been part of the
Wow.
That would be great if they spent the time to Photoshop Edge out of the formation of the Judgment Day.
Oh my God.
Like if R-Truth like, don't you remember all those good times we had together? And like they put up photos.
Oh my God.
Stuff that never happened.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, and there was a meme that somebody created shortly after where they're all in a car ride going to the next venue, but JD's face was out and R-Truth was in, and they're sitting driving to the. I mean, it's fucking great. I
hear it.
David Rosca, when is Logan Paul going to defend his United States Championship after the tournament is over? I would imagine that's going to be either in Saudi Arabia or it's going to be at the Rumble.
I was thinking Saudi Arabia because they fucking love that guy. You know what I mean? Like
that's true.
It's one of those things where he's a. It's not just a wrestling thing. Like if he was a big name wrestler, I'd be like, oh yeah, Royal Rumble because he's a big. But he's a big name YouTuber, and that shit is big all over. So yeah, I think probably Saudi Arabia.
But we don't know yet. I mean, I'm sure they'll make that announcement as soon as the tournament's over. I do like, even though Logan Paul's not there, I do like how they had him cutting video promos on each of the baby faces in those matches.
But see, that's the thing. If he's not, and I appreciate this, and this is what they're not doing with Roman Reigns. If you're not going to be there, put in a fucking segment.
Right. Well, that's what we talked about last week. All you have to do is show him on his island of relevancy.
That's it.
You know, and just chilling by the beach or whatever. But, you know, what do we know?
You could put one of those blue screens behind him and show like you're in a beach.
You know, and what really
and make it corny like that, but make it like
make it very corny.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it like as corny as it was when Carlito did it, you know, years ago. But the thing that bothers me the most is, like, Roman comes back this week. His music hits, and I still got excited because I love seeing him, and I love the entrance, and I love the whole thing. But then I sit there and I get so fucking angry that we get to see this once every 4 months.
Right. It's not.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like it's supposed to be an attraction, and it's starting to lose its value.
It's watered down.
Right.
We're just not getting enough of it. And then when we get him, it's the same stuff over and over. Although I did like the exchange with him and Orton. I did enjoy that.
You know what it is, Steve? If you think about it, he's treating us as the side chick now. Before, we were the main chick. He was there every week. He came to us, wrestled once in a while. Now, we saw him 11 times this year.
Yeah, you're right.
Side chick numbers. You know, like we're upset now. So we don't want this life anymore. And now we want another champ because of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, you're right.
100%, man. Like it's you know what it is they're making a big deal about this record, but he's not putting record numbers up, right? Like he's getting the
Yeah.
days, but he's not wrestling those days. And it might be okay now, but that's not fair to those guys that, you know, had it for thousands of days, but wrestled
Right.
700 of those.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like 800 of those. Like it's different. It's way
It
different.
definitely is, and that's the frustrating. And I don't expect nor want somebody to defend the world title every week.
No,
Once a
absolutely.
month doesn't seem like it seems like a very fair ask for your
He
champion to
doesn't even have
defend
to be
once a
there
month.
every week.
Right, and that's where we're getting at. He just has to. He doesn't have to be there. He just has to be present somehow.
And
So
keep in mind, sometimes that I recall, if my mind serves me right, like the champs, like say if they wrestle on like Saturday night or like a Monday Night Raw, they would wrestle, but the title doesn't have to be on the line. But they would wrestle
exactly, it can be a
in a
tag
tag
match or
team,
something. Yeah,
or in a
Or
3-on-3, or even
or
a
he'd
1-on-1.
send, or he'd send Solo out to do it, but he'd be ringside, sitting in a chair with Heyman watching,
yeah.
or or
Right,
even
something.
commentary table and like with his feet
Commentary,
up on
yeah.
the table, like something. But it's just we're just not getting him at all, and it's getting to a really
Right.
frustrating point where,
And now
you're
at this
starting not to
point,
give a shit.
right, and that kind of goes back to my point from the beginning of the show. If we're just going back to Cody wins, then what the fuck were we doing the last year? Like, I would almost want Cody to not win just so it's shocking to me instead of just being, well, we had this in the plans for 2 years. We told Cody when he signed on and beat Seth at WrestleMania 2 years ago that we were guaranteeing him a win at XYZ WrestleMania 40. We already penciled it in. We cannot change it. That's kind of boring to me. If you developed a plan 2 years ago and you're not modifying it based on what's happening with the crowd response, I'm not saying Cody's not anymore over. I'm saying the thing with the Roman Reigns situation has changed. Now Cody, what? Cody beats a guy that's made 11 appearances, wrestled 11 matches. It's not nearly as impressive. So unless they can reheat Roman, and I don't know, because it doesn't.
What the final two contestants of the Royal Rumble are going to be, right?
Well, it's going to be Punk and Cody.
Punk
Yeah.
and Cody, of course.
Those are going
But
to
the
be your
question
final
is,
two.
who goes over?
You know what I could see?
A double Lex Luger, Bret Hart kind of shit?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
John Cena, Batista-ish?
Yeah, we haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, but then somebody still has to win. Like, they always go back and restart the match, or they have to like wrestle something to determine who the winner is, right?
Wait, are they both on Raw, or is one on Raw, one on SmackDown?
They're both on Raw.
Oh, so I would have said
see,
if
and
they
that's the
both
other
go
thing.
over, they'll both give them a match for each belt.
Well, yeah, and that's fine if they both go over and they both get awarded a contract. Punk can just go Rollins and Cody can go Reigns, and then there you
Right.
go.
That's what I'm thinking.
Usually it goes Rumble and then something at the Elimination Chamber. Like either the Elimination Chamber is for the world title or the
Right.
Elimination Chamber is for the opportunity to be the number one contender at WrestleMania for the title that wasn't selected by the Rumble winner.
Correct.
You know what else was a great segment on Raw last night? The American Nightmare Before Christmas segment with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good.
And he reads this whole story. And then in the end, Cody jumps him and they have a brawl. And I always like those brawls. My only complaint is security came in way too fast. They should have let it go for a little bit more before they had the whole thing with security. But all in all, that was great. It got you excited. But again, I just fear that this is just a setup for another loss for Shinsuke Nakamura. And it's like,
yeah, well, because you got
he's in the same boat as Karrion Kross.
He's going against the guy that might win the Rumble and might be, winning the title from Reigns at WrestleMania 40. So I feel like Cody's not in the spot to lose this match unless he immediately, like, let's say he loses at Well, no, they're setting this match up for the Rumble, correct? Or no? What are they wrestling? Because if here's what I'm thinking.
I
If
don't even know if
Nakamura,
they've announced that yet.
right, if Nakamura wins at like day one, and then they go on to have a stipulation match in Saudi Arabia, then Cody gets his win back, then that's fine. At least Nakamura gets a W somewhere in the middle of this before having
He's
to
got
drop
to
the
get a
Cody.
win somewhere.
But I feel like Cody hasn't had a loss. Has Cody had a loss in the 2 years since he came back?
Yes.
I
He
just
lost to
read
Roman.
something this year. He
But
was
that's
like
what,
he wrestled
other than Roman.
108. He wrestled like 108 matches. He won 103 of them.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
his
a hell
winning
of a
percentage
record.
is crazy.
Because he lost to Roman, he lost to Brock once.
Oh, right.
And then
That's
I
true.
don't know. Maybe there were a couple no DQ or disqualifications.
Well, you had a couple tag team matches. Remember
tag
the
team matches? Yeah. But singles matches, I don't know. He's got a pretty clean sheet aside from those two. Aside from Brock and Roman.
Yeah, nobody else beat him, I think, one-on-one.
So, yeah, I don't know where we're going. And where do you go with Nakamura? Like, after this, if he loses to Cody, then it's like the 8th feud in a row. It feels like he's lost to a top-name guy. So then the next time he wrestles, are you excited? Like, are you excited to see? Like, then you go, okay, well, he cuts a good promo, but we just know he's going to lose, and that's
I
kind
mean,
of where
it's the
now.
same shit I keep saying too about Karrion Kross. It's like you have these two guys that are selecting people to go after, and they always lose.
Right?
Like at some point, you got to give them. It looks like they're going to start to turn Karrion Kross around. They did a whole new package where it's a new beginning. So, God, I hope so. Let's see what they do.
Well,
but he's got to start winning matches.
Well, did you hear the rumor? The rumor of AOP and Paul Ellering being his guys?
I did not hear that, but I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
that would be great.
I heard it a week or two ago, and then I heard nothing else about it. So either they're keeping a lid on it or they dropped it. But it was definitely, there were rumblings of those guys.
I mean, I know they're trying to figure out a way to bring AOP back in for sure, because I know they're under contract.
Karrion Kross, I guess, would be fine. Like, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I
wouldn't hate it.
It wouldn't have been the first thing I thought of, but it also would make sense for those guys because they can kind of get reintroduced and
right.
They could be background guys instead of main players, and yeah, it would help elevate Karrion Kross because, like, I don't know, aside from being really, really scared of his obviously fake porcelain teeth, I don't know what else we have to be scared of about the guy.
Not for nothing, having Paul Ellering in his corner may not be a bad thing either.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not that Karrion Kross is a bad promo, but having that guy out there.
That's what I'm saying. But also what Paul could teach him.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul is a wealth of fucking knowledge, been around a long time.
Absolutely.
Not a bad guy to pick the brain of. So that could be something. I mean, listen, I just want something to happen for Karrion because I'm a big fan. He was such a monster in NXT, and what they did to him on the main roster is a fucking disgrace. And hopefully they can turn it is, but hopefully they can turn him and Scarlett around. And then they got to figure out something for Shinsuke because he's fallen into that same fucking trap now. And then, but I do like the build and I like what they're doing with this story. I'm just afraid for the inevitable, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess. There is something else we have to talk about.
Ooh.
Another great match, and you got to give credit where credit is due. But it will be the last time that you see The Miz going after the IC title.
Yes.
While Gunther is still champion, but they did have another hell of a match where Gunther beat the holy hell out of Miz for the first 10 fucking minutes of the match. And then Miz started coming back and this and that, but what a match. But Gunther is still your champion and then has also announced that he's taking the next few weeks off. And that the other two better impress him because they haven't done anything this year, and he's the one that's carrying Imperium. So
he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. But it was a great match. You got to give Miz a lot of credit.
I give him credit because he's definitely stepped up in the last few years or so. Stepped up his athleticism and like his look and his he was never out of shape, but he was never an inch like he was just kind of like average guy. in terms of body and all that. So he's really done a good job to kind of get to where he needs to be physically. And I mean, wrestling wise, I don't know what it is. It finally did. It took fucking 15 years, but something finally clicked in that guy's brain about how to wrestle. So good. I'm glad. I just, where was this when he was wrestling John Cena?
I didn't think he was that bad, to be honest with you.
It was fine. He was very fine, very serviceable. I don't know if he was WrestleMania main event worthy, but here we are.
I'll give you that. But
now, if things were different and they ran this Gunther feud before the John Cena feud, be like, yeah, Miz could wrestle at WrestleMania against John Cena. That makes a lot of sense. Because now he's trying to show his resiliency and stuff. Now, this is like his grizzled fucking veteran. Like, how grizzled of a veteran can Mike Mizanin be? But here we are. He's the grizzled veteran.
Well, now here's the next big question.
Yeah.
Who's Gunther's next opponent?
I think it's got to be, you know what? This guy, he hasn't wrestled in a while, but I think he's ready, and I think he deserves it. Diamond Dallas Page.
What? What? That came out of nowhere.
He's doing yoga. Listen, that guy's so healthy. He's like vegan or some shit. He does handstands. He can still do it. I think he can.
Out of all the fucking people, you say Diamond Dallas Page?
One diamond cutter is all it takes, Steve. Do you remember the show? It's all it took. One diamond cutter out of nowhere, and he'd put you down for 3 seconds. Don't count him out because he's 72 years old.
Listen, I love DDP. That was just a very random choice of selection.
I was trying to figure out a name.
I honestly thought you were going to say Brock Lesnar. But
no, Brock Lesnar's the serious answer. I wanted to go with the answer that would make people pause and go, wait a minute, did he really say Diamond Dallas Page?
Then you accomplished what you wanted because I paused. Right. I was like, what?
Definitely did. I'm here like, what?
And then I go, all it takes is one diamond cutter, Steve. You must have been so confused. Brock Lesnar is the obvious answer. If they have another Rumble stare down, then it's happening.
Well, now hold on. Now let me ask you this: in order to have a Royal Rumble stare down, both of those men have to be in said Royal Rumble. Mm. So that means Gunther is not defending the IC title at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, who knows, dude? I mean,
or is he? Or does he go do both? I mean, he could do it.
He can do both because he wrestled a fucking hour-long Rumble last year.
Yeah, he did.
So, he could do it.
Did.
Yeah, he did.
But the other thing is things, the modern Rumble, the way things are formatted now, especially with the women's Rumble in there. You've got the one Rumble opens things up, one Rumble closes things out, and you might have 3 matches in the middle. So like they don't do a full card like they used to for the Rumble. The number of matches and the number of title defenses. We're talking about a lot of titles. We're talking about a lot of matches. I don't know how many of them are actually going to come to fruition at especially with Day 1 and Saudi Arabia coming up. I don't know how much of this is going to get done at the actual Rumble.
Right. It'll be interesting to see. We are getting close to the top of the hour. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that we wanted to get into before we took things home?
Yeah, what do you think El Dandy could wrestle Gunther?
El Dandy? Shit. We might as well call Tatanka over and let him trade a shot at it.
Tatanka would be great.
I used to love Tatanka. I used to love Tatanka.
Dude, I'm down with Tatanka. Hell yeah.
Tatanka was his shit.
In 2023.
Name a random wrestler.
That's what I was going for. I was trying to name it.
That's what we're playing right now. Name a random wrestler.
What is Super Kalo up to?
Oh my god.
It does sound like this thing is going to happen with Santos Escobar with the Los Lotharios.
Oh,
I'm hearing.
They should have gave
I'm
Santos.
Hearing that's going to happen.
They should have gave Santos those two dudes. What's their name? The two Samoan looking brothers. We were just talking about them before.
Oh, AOP.
AOP with Escobar would have been crazy.
Ooh,
that would have been. I think I like that look.
Well, listen, it's not too late.
I think that would be a serious look for that team. They will get taken serious, and Escobar could probably hold some. I mean, shit, with those two guys, I could see him sneaking into a world heavyweight championship eventually because he's
Oh
pretty good
wow.
on the mic. I like him
Oh, I do too.
as a heel, man. Like that would be a strong heel for a
He's a
long
great
time
heel.
if you build them up correctly.
Oh, and speaking of strong heels, congratulations to Dirty Dom Mysterio for signing a 5-year WWE contract.
Jesus
Ooh,
Christ.
nice.
Yeah.
I told you, man. He's
Dirty
fucking.
Dom is doing Dirty Dom things right now.
Told you, Dirty Dom is one of my favorite wrestlers right now. I'm not even lying. I'm not even
I
trying to be funny.
I'm with you.
I'm dead serious.
He's gotten so comfortable playing a heel. It's great.
Right.
Like he's just a natural dick.
And he's
And
such a scumbag.
well, right. That's what I'm saying. It's just the whole thing works. I'm very happy for him. I love it. It's fucking great.
Did you see the guy? They were in Australia, promoting the Melbourne show, and they met this kid who looks exactly like Dom, who lives in Australia.
No.
Oh
Is it
my
is
god!
it like the chubbier kid? I think.
There's a kid who's wearing like a wrestling singlet, and they met him at like a meet and greet, and
I think I seen
he
that picture. Yeah.
he's a dead he's like if you made like a white Australian version of Dominic, like the same face, the same mullet haircut, and everything. It's weird, dude.
It looked like Rey Mysterio stayed at somebody's house when he was over there at a live show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Something like
That's
that.
hilarious. That's funny.
Yeah, the kid looks a lot like him.
Rey Mysterio was the milkman.
For sure, for sure.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but it was cool because they had Ray like Ripley would like lean in, make like she was talking to the guy, and then Dom be like, "Oh, it's me." You know what I mean? It's not, like they were doing the twin magic kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. So, good for him. Fucking young guy, 5-year contract. He's set. Put some of that shit in a 401k, and you don't have to think about it the rest of your life.
Oh, I'm sure Daddy is teaching him kind of play it smart with your money.
Says, son, save your money. One day Vince McMahon could come back and burn this whole thing to the ground.
I'll tell you what a difference it's making in the Triple H era. It's really amazing, the turnaround. And it's just, again, like we always say, a great time to be a wrestling fan between WWE and AEW. We should touch on this right before we end the night, but very strong rumors that AEW is taking like a $30 million loss this year.
Yeah, so
and I get like Tony's like a billionaire and like it doesn't matter, but again, it does matter. Like you're not in this to not make money.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Dude, it takes a lot for a business that size. First of all, it's all estimations. The guy is very thorough. His name is Brandon Thurston. He runs a Patreon page called WrestleNomics and a podcast and a Twitter page and all that. He is very good with calculating the ratings, very good with calculating arena reports and how many tickets were sold. And he tells you leading up to shows, oh, this one's not selling very well. But then like a week later, oh, after the announcement of whatever match, they sold this many tickets. So he's also good. He's able to analyze the business stuff. A lot of it, unfortunately, when you read that article, a lot of it is assumptions based on, well, I think this guy's making that much, and I think this guy's making that much, and the average arena cost is this one. So it's not that he's inaccurate. He's doing a lot of accurate estimations. So it's very possible that it could be a $30 million loss. But basically what it is last year, I don't know what the loss was, but the take before the expenses was that in 2022, AEW earned $100 million in revenue before counting any expenses. Now, if they lost money that year, that means that they lost, whatever. So they made 130 million this year or something like that, right? It's like they made a good number, but the cost of doing business in an international market is fucking staggering. So
I don't know.
Do I believe it? It's very possible. What people have to realize, this is the 4th year, I think, of AEW. Most small businesses and I'm not saying small, I'm using the term small business loosely here, but I just know from my own experience in starting up businesses and running small business and stuff. When you start up a new company, it takes at least 5 years. 5 years is kind of the mark where a lot of new business owners don't make it to the 5 year. They barely make it to the 2 year mark. So just the fact that the company stayed active for more than 2 years is a good sign. If it makes the 5 year threshold, that's an even better sign because usually year five is another threshold for new companies where uh, all of the investments that you made over into talent and all this other stuff over the last few years starts to come to fruition. They've got a new TV deal that could be coming up um anytime soon, and who knows, man. It's I don't I don't know enough about running a multinational corporation to look into Vince McMahon's pockets or Tony Khan's pockets. I can only make guesses from where I'm sitting. um the impression that I get is Tony's in, Shad's in. Shad Khan, his father, is in. Um, they're gonna try and make this thing a pro. And it's weird to say, but when you're talking about billionaires, the idea of losing $30 million on something is like, oh, that's a tax write off. Oh, that's a fucking vacation or whatever. You know what I mean? Like losing $30 million on something is such a small amount of money to them. It's like mind boggling.
It's amazing. Well, on that depressing note, it's the top of the hour.
On that depressing note, if any billionaires want to hire me to work for the company.
Seriously.
Jesus Christ. I gotta go punch Jungle Boy. Where is he at? Heard you got a big money contract that way. All you can do is punch Jungle Boy in the face. Uh, anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is a fun one. Shit. Actually went by pretty fast.
Yeah.
All things considered. I mean, we're coming up on the end of the year. Steve, next week, correct me if I'm wrong, next Tuesday's Christmas?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or is Monday Christmas?
No, it's Sunday, Monday, right? Christmas.
Sunday, Monday. Oh, good. So, all right. So we can be back. We'll be back next Tuesday then.
We should be. Al, do I have that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, Christmas Eve Sunday. Yeah.
Tuesday we're clear.
Perfect. All right, good. I was just making sure. Obviously, if that changes, guys, stick to our social media at Tag Me a Date. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Steve's on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn too, but I'm sure you'd rather be LinkedIn with Steve than me. So look for at Tag Me a Date on all social media platforms. Hit that button to follow us and all that. Same thing with YouTube. You go to type Tag Me a Date in the search bar. Tag Me a Date. It's all one word, no spaces. You'll get our page. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified when we upload a new video or when we go live. We live stream on. Well, shit. Now I hear we're live streaming on Instagram at Tag Me a Date. We live stream on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Steve's LinkedIn and a bunch of places. And again, it's all at Tag Me a Date for the most part. YouTube is at Tag Me a Date. Instagram's at Tag Me a Date. The Twitch is the only one that's different. It's twitch.tv/War Report. And again, that's all one word, WARREPORT. It's just twitch.tv/War Report. No dots, dashes, or spaces. And you can follow that page as well. If you're looking for the archives, you can just go through the YouTube or go through the Twitch to see, and I suppose you could scroll back on the Facebook if you want to. I just feel like that would be really not fun to try and do because Facebook is not handy like YouTube is for looking through archives of videos. But anyway, go through the YouTube, go through the Twitch, find the old streams if you want to catch up on some shows, or you can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast. And you can also get some of the archives there as well. Generally, the podcast gets uploaded to the podcast apps, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Gets uploaded with an hour after the show going off the air. So subscribe to that. Go to your favorite podcast app, look for the War Report. Make sure when you're searching for wrestling podcast called the War Report, there are two of them. We made it so that the image and the description of the podcast both mention Tag Me a Date, so you know that you're subscribing to the right one. I'm sure those other people are just lovely, lovely people stealing our name after 2.5 years and starting their own or whatever. So Well, they've only been around 2.5 years. What am I saying? Anyway, subscribe to our podcast on the audio thing. Usually Ryan gets it up within the hour of our podcast going off the air. Ryan not here today. Just want to give our condolences to him losing his dog Henry over the weekend. Never easy. Pets are family members, man. Especially, they've been around 10, 13, 15 years, whatever it is. They're a part of your family, and losing a pet's never an easy thing to do, and it's never an easy decision. So, just we've been talking to him in the group chat, and I had a feeling he wasn't going to be on the show today. But Ryan does a lot of work for us behind the scenes that you guys might not even see, like helping Steve with his audio setup and getting all those sound effects put into that machine and all that stuff. So like Ryan's very integral to even just making sure that before we even hit the broadcast button that things are running smoothly. So yeah, we appreciate the hell out of him. And again, Henry was one of our show mascots, much like Amanda's dog Frankie was, and Cat's cat Jabba. It's tough. I got one of the Dusties back here chilling out. So just want to give a shout out to Ryan and to Henry. And again, it's tough losing a pet, man. So our condolences to Ryan and his girlfriend there. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for all the comments. Tara, thanks for checking in. David Roska, thank you for your updates, of course. If you have friends that are wrestling fans and want to tune in, spread the word, share a link. We love having people come in. If they want to come in and ask a question or post a comment, we read them live. As soon as they come in, we read them live and we address them. So if you want to get in on the conversation, or your friends want to get in on this conversation, it's every Tuesday, 9 p.m. on Eastern Time. We're streaming all over the place. I just told you where you can go find us to stream. So we'll do this all again next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Ooh. I was trying to get it all out before I burped. It didn't work. We're going to try that again. We're going to be back 9 p.m. Eastern Time Tuesday, next Tuesday, for another edition of the War Report, live streaming all over the internet. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Merry Christmas.